That was tough. I don't think the scoreline really represented the challenge because they're an awkward side. When obviously we found out on the Saturday we were playing against them, the two games that we had against them were really awkward. Technically a really good side, some good players, smart, intelligent coach. So we had to be good. We had to be good tonight. Thought we had everything to lose. I don't think my team is a complacent one. It's not an arrogant one. So we had to make sure that get the job done. But we had everything to lose as well. So we had to remind the players in terms of, as well, make sure you're disciplined in terms of your approach. Make sure that you're not complacent, which I didn't really have to say, but you have to mention it. Complacency. We have to work as hard as we've ever worked, over 90 minutes to outrun the opposition, to keep our shape from a tactical point of view, and to get the approach of the game right, which is quite difficult because of course we talked about the first goal in the first 20 minutes. We didn't get the press right from the off, and they found little pockets and played with that. Looked as if they played with that freedom, and found some certain moments. But after that, thought we got a fold in the game. Got ourselves a bit more control of the game, and created some good opportunities. But the first goal was always going to be a big goal. So it was quite a strange one because personally I've not really been in that situation before. The messages are treat it as normal. It's an home game. Let's go and win the game of football. But it's all right me talking about it. The players have got to feel it and got to go and do a job on a talented team. But obviously the first goal changes the direction of the game straight away.
Yeah, I was going to ask about something you mentioned there, that complacency, because the goals speak for themselves, don't they? 6 across both legs, but there was a real desire to keep a clean sheet, even at 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, we felt that. We knew that we could score, and we knew that they could score. But our defensive record's been excellent. The shape of the team was good. We gave the ball up in key areas, but we knew that if we get some passes together and counter well, like we did on Thursday night, that we can go and cause them problems. It's two different styles, and our teams want to go about it, which is absolutely fine. And instead of Liam's team's a really good side, and they can hurt you, but they open up. They can be hurt as well. So it's all about that, and getting. The first goal was key, really. Of course, the direction of the game may have changed last Thursday at half time, but as Liam said, we still had to break them down. We still had to find those moments. We found some moments first half as well in that game. We had to find those moments in tonight's fixture, and we did.
You've not just got through the tie, have you? You've got through emphatically. I know you're a humble football club and a humble manager, but have you laid down a bit of a marker there?
No, not really. I don't feel that way. It was tough. It doesn't have that feel to me. We've had to play well. We had to do a lot of things right over both games. To get us through to the final, it was never going to be an easy sort of pathway for us, and I think people thought that. And I don't know, maybe because I've seen everything in football, and whether I experienced it personally or seen it because of my love of the game. And I'm an optimistic manager. I'm a positive manager, but you know the pitfalls of the game, and one action can change the whole situation. If they score in the first 10 or 15 minutes tonight because we've made a mistake, or we've not got the press right, or we've not got the shape right, and they find a moment, then the whole environment changes completely straight away. And like I said to you at the start, it was for us to lose tonight, and I think you'd have known the outburst if we'd have not got the result. And that's not me being negative, but I think that's just natural that players might feel that. So the balance was really, really key, that we got the balance right. I think we did after 20 minutes, and then obviously we have run out comfortable winners. But the late on bit, I think they gave everything for the football club. They've got a lot of injuries. They're really stretched as a squad. They haven't got the options that we've got. we've got good options, and rightly so, because we're a big club in this division. And that's not me being arrogant, but we've come out of the Premier League, and it isn't easy to go straight back up. It's not straightforward, and we've pushed and pushed all season to get to 92 points for 2 teams. Yet again, I'm going to talk about it. To get to 100 points is an insane season. And then we've had to have the challenges of the narrative of that team that's got so close. How do they deal with it? The narrative as well of Sheffield United's playoff history and stuff like that. So we've had to make sure that we were right mentally as well as physically, technically and tactically.
What did you do to sort of get that mental state, right? Not that it wasn't right before, but what did you do? Did you do anything differently?
No, the message really was quite a stern message after the Burnley game, and feel this moment. Let's reset. And the players have been fabulous. They've given me energy. They've given the coaching staff energy. They focus. They look at it. They've looked at it in training. Substitutes have made a contribution as well. Everybody's together. You can see that. Some big disappointed boys over the last 2 games that have not played, but their opportunity has come and they've affected the game. So I think the best people to ask is them, because for me they're a real together group. We've put a real together group together and overcome the challenges that we've had all season. And it was and you've seen from an emotional point of view as well what's happened tonight with George as well. And we've had to deal with that situation as well. And maybe I think we've talked about it, Dan. It hasn't gone unnoticed in and around these parts, but maybe it has, sort of nationally, what we've had to deal with this season.
Yeah, my next question was about that moment. I mean, it was a pretty stunning moment in the second half when 4 sides of the ground were on their feet with the song going round, the flag at the end. I mean, it's a pretty, not to be too overly emotional with it, but how much is that? Is he with you with this journey?
Yeah, he's with us all the way. Shirts up in every changing room home and away, and we reference him all the time, and we should do, because his career, his journey before us, his journey with us, was amazing, and obviously the tragic situation that for us to deal with, let alone what his family's had to deal with, is incredible. So yeah, he's with us, and he'd have enjoyed that performance tonight. I think he'd enjoyed Hamza's contribution as well in that position as well. But he was a winner. He wanted to prove himself. Wanted to be part of the team. And he's a great example to all our players.
What do the next 12 days look like for you now and the team?
Yeah, the preparation was key. We wanted and wished for a Wembley final, that opportunity to get back into the Premier League. Like I said, it's not straightforward. If it was, everybody would do it year in, year out. With the challenges that we've had, we had to plan to overcome stubborn and difficult opposition, which we have done, and we had to deliver and execute that, which we have done, and we'll have to do exactly the same whoever we play. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow night to watch, and we'll do everything that we can in terms of giving the boys the best preparation and the detail, and then you've got to go and deliver another performance on the biggest of stages.
Just finally for me, we know the date, we know the venue, tomorrow we'll know the opposition. As of now, the fans have got no idea what time the kick-off will be in terms of planning to get back and things like that. I guess you'll welcome clarity on that for the pundits from there.
Yeah, of course, because they're the main people that are going to be at the game. There's no game if there's no punters. So, of course, clarity from all aspects for them. I'm sure they'll, like they have done right the way through the season. I don't feel there's a negativity because of our previous campaigns. I don't know how you feel about it. There feels a freshness about it. There feels a real belief that we can, make history and put to bed all that other things that have gone on previously. I think I've witnessed majority of it as well. So we've been on that journey from 2016. You know, said 6 years in League One. I don't think anybody thought we'd get out of League One in our first season. We've done that. We've done some good things. We've had to suffer on other things, but I reference Newcastle all the time regarding it. You know, the Geordies turned up at Wembley and got the job done. And you know, there's great examples of that. Just as many examples of the negative parts of it. Cheers. Thank you.
Chris, there was a spell after, about half an hour in when Kiefer Moore went injured and you basically had a bit of a time out. It seemed like as a team they got the balance better after that. What was it you said to them?
Yeah, I don't think we got the press right from the off, which was an important part of the game. We were a little bit too wide on the sides, and they found the pockets and caused us problems. But we narrowed up a little bit and made them go on the outside of us. But it's always risk and reward, whatever shape you play. So, I just thought we got caught up in between a little bit, Stu. You know, times that we sort of had the ball and broke their press instead of being really positive with our approach. We just thought that we needed to calm down and get some passes in. For me, that wasn't the right time. I think that was the time to go and hurt them, just as they tried to find their moments to try and hurt us as well. So it was a cagey game, and you know, it was a dangerous game for us because, like I just said there, we had everything to lose.
Yeah, is that the difficulty of the whole stick or twist mentality, just not knowing how hard to go?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you don't want it to be a game of basketball. You don't want it to open up. The environment and the atmosphere completely changes if they get the first goal as well, and the timing. So the approach was key. It wasn't a negative approach. We wanted to get out the traps quickly, but you've got to give them credit and say that they started better than us and found and connected with their passes better than we connected with our passes. But after 25-30 minutes, we started to grow into the game, created some good opportunities, just didn't find that final bit, and then obviously got the goal that sort of settled us all down.
Your subs the last few weeks particularly have really made a big impact. What are you expecting training to be like the next week? Will that sort of push the intensity up rather than people worried about getting injured?
No, we've got to get that balance right. We can't lose anybody through a training injury. We've got an outstanding injury record at the moment. We've got everybody fit and firing. We've got Femi back as well. He'll be available, and Ben Barrett and Diaz as well. So Jez was back tonight as well. So we've got everybody. So it's going to be difficult, but there's no shoe-ins. I think, you know, everybody try and second guess the team, but you know, for me, we've got to pick the right team to give us the best opportunity of getting out of the blocks at Wembley. So if it does mean a change of approach, I think we're flexible as we've shown in terms of over these last 2 games or last 3 games. If we have to go direct, we've got Kiefer option. If we try and play like we have done for the majority of the season, we've got Callum and got other options as well, Tyrese and Tom Cannon. So they're all knocking on the door. They're all contributing in their way, and we'll need that. But I think the biggest thing for me is that the way they accept the decisions that they made and are prepared to do whatever they need to do for their teammates and their football club.
And can that really help you? Do you think the fact that it's not obvious at the moment what your best 11 or even your best formation is?
Yeah, but I've always said we're not a one-trick pony. We don't just stick to one formation, one shape, and just keep that right the way through. We've changed shapes. We have to coach different shapes. We've changed shapes through the season to go for it, to see games out, to play against different styles and different opponents. So we're gonna have to get that right, or try to get it as right as possible. But always the biggest thing and the most difficult job to do is the players in terms of executing that game plan. But if we have to go over, we have to go round, or we have to go through, we'll try and find that right way that gives us the best opportunity.
And just last one for me, we've talked a lot about balance tonight. With all the stuff around George, how difficult has that emotional balance been for the players?
Yeah, I think the players have handled it immensely well. You know, in terms of the 2 results that we've had, that, you know, that's shown their maturity. I don't think we've give a big chance up to the opposition really. Over the 2 games, they've had a little bit of control and they found some areas and some spaces, but defensively we've been solid. We've been good on counter attack and transition, and we've been clinical when we've had to find those big moments at the top of the pitch. So, you know, there's been a lot of good things over the 2 games, but they've been 2 difficult games. It's not been easy. It's not been straightforward. People might think it has been, and they look at the scoreline and 3-0 at home and 3-0 away, but that's been far from the case. I think you've got to give credit to Liam and his team that have been massively stretched over these 2 games for being a really difficult, awkward opponent to come up against.
Hi Chris,
Hi.
Congratulations
Thanks.
on tonight. In your 2 spells here, you and your players have broken all sorts of records. Even tonight, by the way, that was a record aggregate win, apparently 6-0 in the Championship. With all those records that you break, does that give you that mindset that, you know, records are obviously there to be broken and, you know, actually they don't weigh you down at all?
No, they've not weighed me down. There's always the cautious part of the game that we all deal with. As I said, you know, being played a lot of games as a player, seen majority of things and seen majority of things as a manager as well. So you have to be mindful of those things and getting the balance right. But you know, we're creating opportunities to make memories and deliver moments for not only the players and the supporters. And we're going to have one big last effort to produce another big one on Saturday week.
Now, obviously, you've won 2 promotions, one to the Premier League. I know how proud you were of that. But how proud are you to be actually leading out your team at Wembley with the chance to get Premier League football at the end?
Only if we win. That'll be the talk afterwards. If we win, it will mean nothing to me. And I'm not being disrespectful for it. We've got a job to do now, but we're here to win. Contradicting myself, of course, that's going to be a proud moment for me when I all my history and the journey that I've been on. But you know, I'm here to not just because of the journey and everything that goes with what's happened over my career. I'm a football manager, and I'm here to try and win games of football or help the team win games of football, as is Al and all the coaches. And you know, we need to be at our best, and the players need to be at their best to overcome the challenge, whoever it is.
And just finally, Chris, are you going to the stadium like tomorrow, or are you going to watch it on TV?
No, we've got people up there, so we'll be in attendance. But you know, I think nowadays the level of coverage it is, and you know, we've played both teams, we've watched both teams, we've got analysts, you know, we've got a really sharp analyst department that goes through teams just as much as whoever it is, Coventry and Sunderland will know our weaknesses just as much as our strengths as well. Cheers.
Well done, Chris.
Thank you.
I was there when Oxford beat York all those years ago
Yeah.
at Wembley. Not many people here know what it's like to win at Wembley. Have you got an abiding memory of that day in particular that you'll take with you?
Yeah, well, it was a great day for the football club. You know, another pressure sort of situation. I had the late great Jim Smith barking in my ear, a Sheffield Wednesday fan and fellow Sheffield boy, and saying that you better win today or the club might go under. So he cranked that pressure up, and we were a big team in that division as well. Yeah, we went 2-0 up, and goalkeeper chucked one in just before half time, and then it was a cage affair against York City, and then we managed to get a goal in the 89th, 90th minute. I think, you know, pretty much the only time that we can relax and savour it. But everybody talks about, you know, winning at Wembley. I've got to say, my preference would be to go up automatically, but that's off the table because of an outstanding season by Burnley and Leeds United to get 100 points. But we haven't been too far behind them, you know, we've overcome a lot of challenges, and it's been a pretty positive season for the football club. And to round it off with a Wembley win will be magical for everybody. But still got to do the business and get the job done.